Coffee beers, specifically coffee stouts, Berserker mode. Parish Brewing Company, this is Reve. Gotta get up to get down. Another SoPro beer, this is our cake stand.
Also, where do you buy a 3-liter bottle of beer?
You don't, you win it.
We're here to talk to you today about compound bows. Let's go.
Woke up this morning, finished up the rest of the lemonade shoot at the house, went to the grocery store and came here. Went for a run.
All right, episode 4. What's the theme?
Coffee beers.
Coffee beers.
Specifically coffee stouts.
See, to me, coffee and beer sound like two totally different things.
Man, you'd be surprised how much coffee it takes to make beer.
Really?
I drink a lot of coffee in the morning, you know what I'm saying? Got to get going.
Yeah.
And from what I've been told, it takes a lot of beer to like roast coffee beans.
Yeah, oh yeah, because of the stress?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, because they're drinking it.
Yeah.
It's not in the okay.
Not in the yeah. Okay. We drink a lot of coffee to make beer, and they drink a lot of beer to make their coffee beans, so.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's like a symbiotic relationship. Beer is making coffee and coffee's making beer without either one really being aware of that.
100%. It's actually a conspiracy theory.
Well, you can't say conspiracy theory in the first 5 minutes or our video get flagged. But actually, no, I think you can just say whatever you want. I don't think it matters anymore. Yeah. Anyway, okay, so coffee stout.
Coffee stouts.
All right, what's our first one?
So we're going to start out with a familiar one.
Okay.
Berserker mode.
Yeah.
So that's a SoPro beer. The reason why we're going to start with this one, it's the highest ABV that we're going to be tasting today. So it's the strongest from that standpoint. But it's not as like maybe thick or sweet as some of the other ones we're gonna taste later.
Also, higher ABV, it'll make the rest of the episode fun.
Let's do it.
Let's go. So how you been, man? You've been running a bunch?
I've been running a little bit. I like to call it earning those beers.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the theme of going into 2025. Earn those beers.
Earn those beers. It was like Steven last week's garage tip.
Garage tip.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's the only time I'm gonna do that.
No, do it. It's fine. There's no limit. There's no quota.
Don't tell me that.
Him saying, if you drink too many beers, this happens. And that was it. I like that was his only tip.
Yep.
It's just, you got to do something. It's pretty obvious. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, so Berserker mode, SoPro. Hold on. Also, for our international viewers, we've been doing a boo-boo. We've been drinking before we cheers. We've also cheersed, and then I just spoke after we cheersed and didn't drink, which is bad luck in a lot of cultures. So,
okay.
So this is for international viewers. We're gonna flash a bunch of international flags on the screen right now. This is for yeah, this is our international segment. We're gonna cheers and not talk. Very demure, very mindful.
Very demure. Mm-hmm. So Berserker mode, 8.5% ABV. So this will warm you up in the winter for sure. We get our coffee beans locally from Grin, right down the road there.
Huge fan of Grin.
This is an Indonesian blend. It's specifically roasted just for this beer. So over the year, we've made this beer for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years now. And that was an exciting thing about this beer is every year going to meet up with Tommy at Grin and doing cuppings and like smelling all these different blends and, you know, putting a new coffee bean in there. And I think 2 or 3 years ago, we came across this Indonesian coffee and it's just killer. So it was like, hey, I'm still going to come like smell beans every year, but like we're not going to change it.
Yeah.
Because it just works like perfectly with this beer.
Is this Tommy on the can yelling?
You know what? I've never thought about that, but maybe.
Maybe. That's anime Tommy.
Interesting.
So why from Indonesia? Why this specific coffee bean?
So, you know, I'm not a coffee nerd by any means, but, you know, different origins, different roast, they all have different flavors and different things going on. I think for us specifically, we were looking for something that had some slight like jelly jam kind of vibes going on. So some like Concord grape kind of stuff. Obviously like heavy on the like cacao or the chocolate on there.
Cacao, that's fun to say.
It is. Yeah, heavy on the chocolate, heavy on the roastiness, kind of like a fruity but just more traditional coffee taste. And I think, I mean, you can definitely taste the coffee in this beer 100%.
Yeah. It's interesting though, we had the Oktoberfest at my wife's store at Carter's Collective, and there were like 4 different people that saw your beer layout you had. And they go, man, one guy literally said, I just drank Coors Light. And he's like, he was very polite though. He wasn't like snooty. He's like, I just never mix it up. And he tasted all the beers, and I'm like going, he's gonna love Fest beer. I love Fest beer. You love Fest beer. It's a crusher.
Yep.
And then he tastes all of them, and he has Berserker mode, and he goes, I think the coffee beer is my favorite. And I think most people would think coffee beer, it's another one that if you're not into craft beer, it sounds scary. Why would I do that?
It looks scary.
It does. Well, I'm sure you pour this in a glass.
Well, even the can looks scary.
Well, Tommy's yelling at you.
Yeah, no doubt.
Why would he do that? It is pretty crisp. Like, it's not what I would have thought.
It doesn't sit heavy on the tongue. You drink it, you're like, beer, coffee, you swallow it, and then it kind of disappears. It doesn't like stick around like with a stickiness or a sweetness or whatever.
No, that's the other thing. It doesn't linger, because you think most stouts, even coffee or not, they just overstay their welcome. It's like, but this is actually really crisp.
And back to the guy at the Oktoberfest event, that lights me up. I love that shit.
Yeah.
When someone's like, oh, I don't know, and then they taste it and they go, you know what? Maybe I am on board with this.
You very much like to enlighten the doubting Thomas.
No doubt.
Like, oh no, just take a look.
Because I think he had tasted through them and he was like, I don't want, and I was like, no, you got to. I was like, come on, you're gonna like it, you know. And that happened several times that night. So it just goes to show you.
That one guy,
try things.
He came back and was like, can I just have one?
Yeah.
So you were like, no, here, take a whole can and
yeah.
Get out of here, man. Enjoy it.
Be safe, but yeah, get out of here.
Yeah, and it was sealed, whatever, narcs. But the point is, you made a believer out of a dude that was would not have tried it otherwise.
Most definitely.
Which is pretty cool. Do you take beers on the road a lot? Do you go to places and spread the good news of SoPro?
I try to. I don't own like a Calliope van like some people we know. Shouts out Tyner, because that would be the perfect vehicle to like pass beers out to people over 21 years old for sure. You don't want any underage kids, but it's an ice cream van for adults.
Yeah. For hip adults.
I'll have beers with me occasionally that I'll hand out, but not really.
That was just fascinating. That would be a show in itself.
Yeah.
I thought of what is the Impractical Jokers? Something like that, hidden camera, have people taste it. I'm like, man, I don't want that. Yeah. Or in different cities, I think that would be really interesting. That would be a really cool, premise for a live show.
Maybe it's called Walking with Drew instead of Driving with Drew.
Yeah, walking.
Yeah, walking beers.
It is funny that I have a drive-in show and a beer show.
Yeah, I know.
I'm really gonna have to work very hard. Be like,
no doubt,
separate those two things, guys. Don't do those together.
Scroll the Bell's bondsman number at the bottom of the podcast right here.
Yeah. One happens after the other for sure. Ugh. So anyway, all right. What else about this?
Yeah, let me give you a little information here. So, like I said, we got some more coffee beers. There's like a million different ways to incorporate coffee into your beer. There's malts that have been kilned or roasted to mimic some of those coffee flavors. Obviously, nothing's going to be as strong or true a flavor as actual like coffee. For us specifically at SoPro, been doing coffee beers for a really long time, and our sweet spot right now is a mixture of a coarse grind and whole bean. And we have found that those do different things for us, with the coarse grind being more of a flavor component and the whole bean being more of an aromatic component as far as the coffee is concerned in the beer.
Oh, so are those different beans or just the same bean?
It's all that Indonesian blend from Grin.
Okay.
So I tell Tommy, he knows at this point, it's like, hey, I need to order a coffee. He sends X amount in grounds and then X amount in whole beans. Basically, after the beer is fermented and completely done, I'm going to pull it off into a tank, a couple 100 gallons. And I'm basically going to do a cold brew or a cold steep on all that ground and whole bean coffee, and do it for, I don't know, about between 16 and 24 hours. Closer to 18 hours is probably our sweet spot. And we're basically just doing like kind of a cold brew, but with beer instead of water. And then we pump that back into the beer, do all our micro testing on that to make sure everything's good to go, and then at that point it's ready to carbonate and can.
Nice, man. Yeah, that's so nuts to me. Like, I feel like everything you do, I wonder, where do you even start? You know, how do you go, okay, we need something unique. Let's put coffee in a beer. Yeah, Tommy's awesome. Grin Coffee is a big deal here in Hattiesburg. If you're not from here, you know, it's a big deal. It's one of the big places people go to and hang out and enjoy
he's just
their
like
coffee.
an awesome guy.
He's an awesome, yeah, by all accounts, super wholesome, very nice. But like, how do you go from point A to point B? How do you get that done? And I don't know. It's fascinating to me, like how you make these decisions.
Yeah, I think it really just comes down to this is one of our seasonals. So it's in season right now. We've had an unusually warm winter.
Yeah.
You know, we had a cold snap early because of star charts and, you know, us just kind of like making that happen.
And the aliens too.
Aliens, all that. You know, we made that happen, I think, episode 1.
Ancient aliens.
And then it got really warm. So the gods were angry at us.
Because we called them out.
Because we called them out.
Like, we know what you're doing.
But, you know, typically it's colder this time of year. So you want a dark beer in your rotation. So if you're doing a seasonal, it's like, when you can do a stout? You can do that in the middle of the summer down here in the deep south? Absolutely not. Nobody's trying to drink a stout in the summer. So you got to kind of pick your coldest months or whatever. So, you know, we know we want a stout, and it's like, well, do we want something that's like a slight variation of a stout? Yeah, why not? Something, you know, with a little more pistache. Is that a word?
Pizzazz?
Pizzazz.
Pistache is when you're fancy with pistachios.
Oh, okay.
That's different.
That's next year's stout.
That's, yeah, pistachio beer.
Pistachio
So
stout next year.
Pistachio beers.
We already got a name.
Oh, pistachio ice cream's hitting. I'm just saying, there's your marketing campaign right there. Is pistachio ice cream next to a beer.
We know we need a dark beer. Why not do coffee? You know, we want something with a higher ABV. And, you know, I mean, like I said, we've been doing this for a couple years now. I think that it's really important to like listen to what people want,
Oh,
you know?
yeah, man.
And I know that sounds like a no-brainer. When I started SoPro,
You'd be surprised.
I brewed a lot of things, and people were like, "What about this?" I'm like, This is what I want to drink," you know. And that was that worked for a little bit. And then at some point, you're like, "Well, man, you got all these like awesome people that are drinking these beers. Like, let's like listen to them and, you know, get some feedback." Business.
Yeah.
And,
listen to the market.
Yeah, you know, and people love Berserker mode, and you know, I think some of that also has to do with Grin Coffee, and like that's a local coffee shop that everybody's going to, and you can get that coffee all over town and other businesses. So I think it's just kind of grown over the years, and at this point, people would be pissed if we were like, we're not doing Berserker mode anymore. So we got to fit it in somewhere. So winter it is.
That makes sense, man. That's cool that you listen to your fan base, because, you know, we've talked about this before, like craft beer world's a lot like sneakerheads. So people that are into it are passionate, and if you don't listen, you're going to end up losing them.
Yeah, they're gonna drag you through the streets.
Yeah. You won't just lose them. They'll
They're gonna attack you.
yeah, grab your
We love you.
pitchfork.
Thank you.
yeah, but
You
it's
keep us honest.
like that. You've had releases, and I've hung out with you at SoPro before, and then just hearing the various reactions to releases, you got to have some thick skin, man. Like,
No doubt.
You have a lot of people like, no, this is great, and you have other people like, what? Berserker mode, do they not know that it's 80 degrees outside or something like that? It's like, well, we don't control the weather yet.
Or they'll say,
Yeah, dude. Humans control the weather, but not the climate.
true,
Explain that shit.
no doubt.
The climate is not being affected by humans, but the weather is.
Yep.
So, just say so everybody's
Duh.
clear on that. Anyway, but yeah, man, this is delicious. This is a great beer.
The best feedback I get from, you know, especially seasonal beers like this is the person that's like, 3 years ago it was better.
Hell yeah.
And I'm like, you remember that, do you?
Yeah.
I don't. You remember that 3 years ago, what you had 3 years ago, you remember, and you think it was better. And I'm like, cool, man.
What were you
Would
doing
you like a
3 years
job?
ago? Yeah. Was your life 3 years ago better? I feel
don't
like
know.
that. I think that plays into it as well. You know?
Yeah.
Okay. Big question here. With all these coffee beers, does this have caffeine in it?
100%.
Okay.
All these beers are going to have some level of caffeine in them.
I mean, we're shooting in the evening. Full disclosure. Am I gonna have a hard time going to sleep?
No, it's not that much caffeine. I mean, it's less than a cup of coffee. It's not like we're about to have like 3 or 4 cups of coffee.
I mean, that's. I'm cool. I'm down for whatever.
You're a drummer.
Yeah, yeah.
You've been to South America. Like, you can handle 3 or 4 cups of coffee. Like,
Yeah, man, it's fine. It's fine. I'll be fine, dude. Man, this is great. Berserker mode.
it's a good beer. I love it. It's tasty.
All right, and I have scores. We got to do crushability, complexity, consistency. We'll do that at the end of the show.
end?
I
Okay.
think we do that at the end.
Okay.
Well, unless we want to change it, unless you don't like that, please just tell us what you like. Okay.
Feedback is the key word tonight.
Feedback. Absolutely. Hey, maybe this is a garage tip.
Cheers to garage beers. Hey, I'm Robert Lee. I'm an acute care nurse practitioner with comprehensive radiology services here in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Been at Forest General almost 20 years, and I'm here to talk to you today about compound bows. Let's go. Going into an archery shop or sporting goods store with somebody who's well educated, knows about bows, you go in, you get fitted appropriately is the first thing. So that comes down to draw length, which is how far you're pulling the bow, and then draw weight, which is how many pounds you're pulling back. Those things vary, obviously, person to person, short, tall, long arm, short arm, all that comes into play. But getting a bow fitted appropriately is probably the number one aspect that I would go with first as far as entering into compound bow shooting. From there, you work on the fundamentals, and that basically boils down to stance. So we go with a 90-degree stance, feet shoulder width apart. You have a good steady base. You're not swaying, bowing. Anchor points, which is where you draw the bow to. So you're touching. Everybody's anchor points are a little bit different. Mine's here. And so when I pull the bow back, I'm touching here every single time, looking through my peep to my sight, and then releasing the arrow. And then the releasing of the arrow is the trigger pull, which is something else that is important. So it's very similar to shooting a gun. You're not jerking or snatching the trigger, you're squeezing it almost so that it surprises you when the arrow releases. So smooth squeeze. And then follow through is when you shoot, you don't release and drop the bow. You're holding the bow up until the arrow hits the target, and that's follow through. Draw weight is very dependent upon multiple factors from age to strength, but you start with what's comfortable so that you can learn to shoot appropriately first, and then you can increase that. And basically that means how many pounds you're pulling back. So 30 pounds or 70 pounds. The main thing there is getting comfortable so that you can shoot accurately first. It's a fun thing to get into. Obviously, multiple reasons to get into it, whether it's target, hunting, competition, long range, short range. I think it just depends on what tickles your fancy.
What you got next?
So, all right, moving on. We're going to switch it up. We don't do a lot of bottles on the show.
Oh, let me go get my bottle opener.
I got one.
You brought one. Oh,
I hurt my
man.
hand last time.
It's not a choice. I need a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
I remembered. Fool me once.
The fool can't get fooled again. Oh, look at this. This is a wooden bottle opener?
Oh, check this out.
Dude, that's science.
It's like a shark. It's got a magnet. I'm gonna let you take this for a spin. You're gonna like it.
Okay. Dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun,
Dun,
dun,
dun,
dun,
dun.
dun.
Oh, yeah, man. I do like this.
The Louisiana boys, the kings of Louisiana here. Parish Brewing Company. This is Reve Stout. So just like Berserker mode, this is a coffee stout, but technically this is a milk stout. So milk stout.
Cheers before you get too deep into it.
Let's just back up just a little bit. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Wait, no, when you cheers, though, you got to cheers. In some cultures, you're supposed to maintain eye contact and do it with your left hand.
I don't want to get cursed.
So, yeah, here. I think.
Well, then also technically, you don't want to be the first one to bring your glass down. I think too.
Oh yeah, probably. Simultaneous, that was good. That was just like in rehearsal.
Man, that was nice.
That was nice. I think the eye contact thing is so it wasn't, back in the medieval times, it wasn't poison. So if I drank it and I'm shifty-eyed, I don't look at you. It's like, oh yeah, have a drink. Cheers.
Cheers. Drink that.
And then you keep talking in between before you drink. You're nervous. I think that's what it is. I could be wrong. There's some historian that probably knows, but
Drop it in the comments. Let us know.
and also in the comments, I think it was like Cool Guy 666 or somebody was like, pour your beers, they need to breathe like wine. Yes, they absolutely do. But we're
Full
not.
disclosure, that was me.
I forget what it was. He seemed very nice, but but yeah, we're just drinking it out of the bottle because we're being kind of lazy, man, and the budget's low. So here we go.
Parish Brewing Company out of Louisiana.
Yep.
Actually started the same year we did at SoPro, and so they've been kind of around for a little bit. Definitely a big player in the Southeast down here, or around the country. But this is their Reve coffee stout. Reve Coffee Lab is in New Orleans. You ever been there?
No.
Check it out next time you're down there. They're doing some like awesome coffee. So this coffee bean is a Colombian blend that they're getting from the Reve coffee people in New Orleans. This also has lactose in it and a little bit of vanilla. Okay. So that's why we kind of started with Berserker mode, because it's kind of, I guess, the purest form of coffee there. There's not any kind of additives kind of going on to enhance it. So that being said, this is a very delicious beer. Like I said, it has a little bit of vanilla and a little bit of milk sugar. The vanilla, I think, kind of sweetens it up really, really nicely. Full disclosure, I drink my coffee black, but every once in a while,
Yeah, you do.
I'll do a little bit of, little splash of cream like that, just like that, not like this, just like a little splash. Treat myself a little bit,
I do black coffee as well because it doesn't break your fast. I do intermittent fasting. So if you want to skip breakfast and just have black coffee, and then you don't
Or
eat.
coffee beers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, in the morning. Yeah. So,
Well, not this one.
Not this one.
You can have this one.
Well, see, I'm pretty much for the most part dairy free, so I didn't realize this. So this has dairy in it.
It has lactose in it, so this is a huge area of contention.
Oh, let's get into it.
I don't even know if I'm ready to get into it.
No, get into it.
Lactose is milk sugar. It is. I am a firm believer that there is not enough going on in your drink if you're like, I'm dairy free. I don't think it's going to upset your stomach.
Okay.
I think that because I'll have people all the time and they're like, oh, my stomach's hurting. It must have been lactose. I'm like, it's probably because you drank a 6-pack of it, buddy.
Yeah.
At that point, maybe it is the lactose, but it's probably the alcohol and, the cheese fries you ate with it. It's all the other stuff that's going along with it. Yeah. Maybe that's why your stomach's hurting.
And we'll get into the scoring later. This doesn't seem like something you crush a lot of.
It's getting into dessert territory. I think very delicious, though.
Yeah, beautiful. So Reve Coffee in New Orleans partnered with Parish. So this is similar to what you did with Grin.
Grin, yeah, same thing.
Okay, cool.
And I think you'll see that across the country. Yeah. You have breweries, if there's like some local coffee people around, that's who they're going to get their coffee beans from. Why not? It's going to be fresher. That goes back to the whole conspiracy. Coffee keeps breweries going, and breweries keep coffee roasters going.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I've never thought about that
Circle
before
of life.
Today.
I don't know if this is vanilla beans or it's, some kind of vanilla extract or whatever, but it doesn't taste like super synthetic to me. It doesn't taste like super fake. You notice how the mouthfeel is a little bit thicker on this one compared to the Berserker mode?
Yeah,
it's a teachable moment. I just made that up.
Yes. We have a new segment. You've named all the segments so far. Yeah, Garage Tip was you. And yeah, you've named all the segments. Well done, sir. Yeah, this almost tastes not... Don't take this the wrong way. Once again, uneducated.
Yep.
This tastes seltzery related compared to this.
This is a thick boy right here.
Yeah, drinking this, I love it.
This is like a normal beer.
But then when I go to this, it's like the same of like if I was drinking a lot of Jack the Sippers and then I had like, a house beer or a Mick Ultra even, like something really light, like, hey, I've had 3 of these. I would like to close out with something really light to almost cleanse the palate. Yeah, this is much cleaner.
So that's why we started with this beer, and that is all because of the lactose in here. Okay. So the next 3 beers all have lactose. That's why we started with this one right here.
So does the lactose like actually physically kind of stick to the tongue? Is that why? Like, what ingredients in this beer and beers like it are actually sticking to your tongue so that people know if it's in that beer? I'm gonna have a longer aftertaste versus a crisper one.
Technically you should probably have it on the label, just like a full disclosure thing. If like your beer has lactose, like put it on the label. Like it's not, lactose in beer now is not a bad thing. It used to be a very, that's how you got a milk stout, which is a sub-style of stouts, lactose. And there's different percentages that you can like add in there, a little bit, lot, whatever. It's not necessarily a bad thing. More modern craft beer now, people are putting lactose in all kinds of things they probably used to not put it in. That's because you get this really big perceived mouthfeel. And where you're getting that perceived mouthfeel is the sugar. Yeah. So real quick, beer, we get our sugars from our grains that we put in the beer. So that's why beers that have more grain in them or a higher ABV tend to be more money. They cost more money because we have more raw ingredients to get that alcohol up. Well, a lot of those sugars in there are like single chain, like simple sugars. The yeast breaks that down, eats it, and that's where we get alcohol from. So you're left with a very small percentage of sugar, let's say left in like a beer like Berserker mode, house beer, Michelob Ultra, all these kind of like just normal beers without lactose. There's still a little bit of sugar in those, but it's finite. It's very, it's small.
So you're using monosaccharides. School.
When we're talking about lactose is a complex sugar. Brewer's yeast can't break it down, so it stays in the beer. So I can have an IPA that I put lactose in, and you might not necessarily like say it's sweet, but you're like, ooh, that mouthfeel was a lot thicker. That's because of the extra sugar that's making it perceive like it's thicker in your mouth.
Okay.
And obviously, the more lactose you put in there, you can start getting some actual like sweetness and stuff like that from it. I actually don't know. I would say that I'm getting more of the sweetness on this is probably from the vanilla.
Oh, vanilla.
I think that thick mouthfeel is definitely the lactose, and then I think some of that sweetness is the vanilla. I love it. I mean, I would definitely like crush this beer after dinner on a regular basis.
Oh, this is killer. Well, I mean, Parish, man, they make Ghost in the Machine, so fucking geniuses, bro. Like, huge fan. We talked about this last episode with the IPAs, with the hops in Lagunitas versus Two Hearted Ale.
Yep.
And we go, oh, it's like it's more going on. With this, I don't know if it feels like there's more going on. It feels like there's more variety because you're adding vanilla and milk stout. And then here I can taste like, this is why it's important to have like a Tommy Teeple go, this is just the bean.
Yeah.
If the bean isn't good, like this beer sucks.
No doubt.
But it doesn't because the bean is quality.
Yeah.
Like here, not saying anyone's hiding behind anything, but there's just other things happening. So the bean's not front and center like it is in Berserker.
Yep.
Is that...
They're like...
Did I just figure out Beerz?
You're hired. Shut down the show.
Did I just become a genius? No. But that's...
Open up, FBI.
What? But I mean, we talked about that. We're like, I'm just trying to figure it out. Like that would make sense based on what you told me. Like the taste difference.
This is a single ingredient dish, and this is like building a dessert.
Yeah. Delicious.
Yeah.
Well done, Parish. Share our video when we post this, please, to your story.
Damn it. Why are we so bad at that?
I don't know, man. Beer number 3. Lucky Thirds?
Have you ever had anything from Wiseacre?
Yes.
Gotta get up to get down. So once again, coffee, milk stout. This time no vanilla. I think this is 5% ABV, so it is definitely the smallest ABV out of the 3. But let's get into this and check it out.
Okay.
Wiseacre out of Memphis.
Oh yeah, that felt awkward, so that was probably good.
Yeah, no, I think that was the best one yet.
Eye contact, didn't talk in between the cheers, didn't drink before the cheers. We're getting it down.
Learning, adapting, evolving.
That's what the garage is for, education.
Yep, self-improvement.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
And if
honestly.
you're not self-improving in your own garage, then like,
Then it gets real sad real quick.
what are you doing?
you're spiraling. And that's okay too.
And I live in the garage now.
And that's okay too, if that's where you're at, you know? I mean,
We're here for you.
but ideally, we're getting better and learning. So anyway, so tell me about this Wiseacre Brewing coffee milk stout. Got to get up to get down.
Wiseacre's a really cool place. I've been there like several times.
Do you know them?
Yeah.
That's what's so cool too, is like I know all these brands from the grocery store.
Yeah.
You know like the humans behind it.
Yeah. Same thing with Parish. I mean, like I know all these people.
Santa. I know him.
So I get a little more like it's not as thick as the Parish. It's a little bit thicker than the Berserker mode, and that is probably because of the lactose, the milk stout that's in this. ABV is a little bit lower too, like I said, so that's always going to kind of leave you with a little bit thinner beer, especially when a stout's concerned. Honestly, this is kind of like a happy medium between the two. I think, Berserker mode is strong on the coffee. ABV's 8.5. It's like, how many 8.5 beers are you trying to drink? I guess it depends on your cycle in the garage. If you're living in the garage and spiraling, maybe a bunch of them. I don't know. If you're like, hey, I'm trying to self-improve, like maybe I'll have one Berserker mode and then like one of these and then go in with my family, like a human would. Yeah, maybe this is a good beer for you. I don't know.
If we start guessing where people are psychologically based on what beer they're drinking, I feel like that's a slippery slope.
This is an Ethiopian coffee. So like I was saying earlier, all these different coffee beans from all these different origins. Coffee's cool because it's like wine and it's like hops. It's all about the microclimates. So you can get coffee beans from all over the place and they all have different terroirs like wine does and stuff like that. But I think one of the big notes that I'm getting from this that I really haven't got as strong on the other two is almost like a fruitiness, almost kind of like a blueberry kind of thing going on.
I didn't taste that at all.
Huh. Well, that's okay.
I do now though. Well, it's like the baker's chocolate. It's like you've incepted me with flavor. It's like what?
I'm literally spoon feeding you flavors right now.
But that's what's so much fun about the show, though. Like, it tastes better when someone goes, hey, here's a suggestion. Like, do you taste blueberry? It's like, no, I wasn't even thinking about, I was thinking about coffee and beer. Was not going that far as, blueberry. But yeah, you can. It's not prominent, but yeah, you can taste the fruitiness for sure.
Honestly, like I'm not really sure where they're getting their coffee from. Hopefully it's somebody up in Memphis, Grind City.
This is good.
Cool can too. I got one more secret beer for us.
No, it's not called a secret beer.
It's called a
Mystery beer. Mystery beer.
Yeah.
So in honor of Thanksgiving, I brought us a shareable beer.
What?
Yeah, so I call them shareable beers. It's any beer that a normal human like probably shouldn't drink a whole bottle of. Most of them come in a little bit bigger
Challenge
bottles.
accepted.
Yeah, no doubt. Like there'll definitely be some people out there that are like, hey, challenge accepted. And you know what? Good for you. But coming from the person that creates a bunch of these kind of beers, they're meant to be shared. Let's jump right into it.
Okay, shareable beer.
Which is a little bit bigger beer than you probably normally have. It's usually very like intense flavor-wise and meant to be shared. Like I said, in honor of Thanksgiving, everybody hopefully is going to be around the table eating some good food, and you can sit back afterwards and watch some football and hopefully like open up a shareable beer.
Oh, so shareable beers are really good for talking about religion and politics.
100%. That's why they're made. So this is actually another SoPro beer. This is our cake stand. This is actually releasing Black Friday at the tap room.
Tap room only?
Tap room only.
Oh, shit.
This is a barrel-aged imperial stout. We're calling it a tiramisu stout. It has coffee, vanilla, and cacao nibs in it.
Cacao.
So I brought it in today because of the coffee. Once again, shout out to Grin, using Grin here. This is a Central American blend. Actually, I think it's Hootie Hoo coffee we use. So another blend that they normally.
Yeah, Hootie Hoo's good.
All right. In true shareable fashion, I'll pour your beer. So this is going to be nothing like the other ones we've tasted. This is going to be 10% ABV, a lot higher, bourbon barrel aged. I'll pour yours.
Okay. Oh, you're gonna pour you both. Okay. All right. You're the expert.
I'm hosting right now.
Okay. Bourbon barrel aged.
Bourbon barrel aged.
Oh, you know I love the bourbon barrel aged beers.
Coffee,
Oh, this is dessert.
vanilla, and cacao nibs. This is a big boy beer right here. Ooh, it's thick. This is definitely like an after a bunch of turkey and deviled eggs.
I also have another C-related rating process.
Okay.
The thickness. How many C's would you put on each one of these?
THICCCC 4 maybe on
C's
this one.
on
Yeah,
this one.
this one's thick.
Thick. Okay.
I'll be bringing some of this to our Friendsgiving. Cheers.
Cheers. Oh damn.
Oh damn.
Oh damn.
Oh damn.
Oh man. That's
Like a melted candy bar,
fucking
but
delicious.
like in the best way ever.
No, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Bro. So full disclosure, I have not. I knew you were bringing something. We said we want to do some more SoPro stuff. I did not know this is what you were bringing, and you did not preface. This is genuine reaction, dude. This is brilliant, man.
You're the first person that's tasted it outside the brewery. We're super excited about it. Like I said, Black Friday. This is releasing.
Oh my gosh,
It's good, huh?
this is freaking good, dude.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
Wow. All right, talk me through. Can you pour me more? I'm gonna need more of this. This is ridiculous. Talk me through what this is.
Yeah.
As I don't say a freaking word.
I've been barrel aging beer even like before
Before they were
SoPro
barrels.
opened up. Not quite that long. I love barrel aging beer. I love bourbon barrels. It's just a lot of fun to throw that like wild card element into it, because you can either have something really magical happen. Sometimes you got to dump them. Sometimes they don't like turn out right. So several months ago, we were going through our stout stock. We usually have 2 or 3 different stouts that have different grain bills that we bourbon barrel aged. The bulk of them are always our cake series here. And we identified several barrels for next year's anniversary, like in April. And then I found like several barrels this year, enough to do 2 single batches of cakes for Black Friday. We usually release a bunch of barrel aged beers for Cake Friday, so we'll have 2 this year. This is one of them. The other one is the German chocolate cake, which got a ton of coconut in it. We do that one several times. So yeah, essentially probably between the anniversary in April and then this beer, about half the barrels I had down there, we'll just wind up dumping. The other half will be split between anniversary and then what's releasing Black Friday. And so we're just going through and identifying barrels. And when you're really diving in on barrels, I like to go through and smell a lot of them, and then the ones that are smelling similar, I'll taste. You get palate fatigue if you go down there and try to taste like 10, 20 like bourbon barrels, even if it's a small sample. So I'll kind of go by the old sniffer first and kind of break them up so I can taste them at different days. And man, I was getting a lot of cinnamon off a bunch of different barrels we had this go around. I think they're Knob Creek barrels. And that's where the tiramisu got blended in. Madagascar vanilla beans. So got those all cut up, thrown in there. Added the cinnamon, and then was like, hey man, we need to take this to the next level. Hollered at Tommy and got some good coffee beans and threw those in there, and this is the result. So this beer was aging in bourbon barrel. The stout was for a little over a year, I think 13 months at this point. And then we throw all the vanilla bean and the coffee and all that stays in there for just a couple days.
Yeah.
And then we pull it off and bottle it up, and this is the result.
Man, this is freaking delicious. There is so much going on. This is like...
It's extremely complex, but like in the best way.
Yeah, like I've never tasted a beer like this before. I'm not.
No, I'm
Whatever. I could cut this shit out. It doesn't matter. Like I'm not lying.
I brought this up here for a reason because I knew that you were going to be like, so this was all planned. It was like, hey, like Berserker mode, and then we got into some thicker ones with the milk stout, and then I was like, I'm going to blow the lid off at the end. And granted, this is a very complex beer. These beers aren't trying to be what this is right here. I strictly brought this up here because Thanksgiving's coming up. Yeah. It's releasing right after Thanksgiving. It is a shareable beer. It's, this is something you would share with like friends and family to like show them a good time, have a good conversation, and had coffee in it. So it's like, oh, it fits the coffee stout thing.
When I taste this, like honestly, it just hit me. I was like, I'm so happy for you, man, because people are gonna freak out over this. This is gonna sell, and people are gonna love this. This is nuts, man.
Our bourbon barrel aged stouts are always like some of our highest rated beers, like on Untapped and stuff like that. So, like sours do good, IPAs do like really good, but man, the bourbon barrel stouts, they're always, and that's because like I'm willing to, like I said, like I'm not going to mix in barrels that are subpar with really good barrels when you're blending and stuff like that. That's a whole art in itself. If it's not, why take something that's platinum level and like mix in a bunch of like silver and bronze with it? It just doesn't make sense. So, that's just always been a philosophy. It's like, hey, the best.
What was the first beer you put in a bourbon barrel? Because didn't you do
Barley
a fire
Legal.
ant? Because wasn't there a fire ant you did? Or
we've done fire ant barrel aged, and hipster breakfast barrel aged. Those were some of those like first beers that were barrel aged back in the day.
Yeah, that stuff. I mean, it definitely adds something. It sounds, I don't know. I think like the process sounds very complex, and you're like, really, can you tell a difference? And then you have it, and you're like, oh. Yeah, you can tell a difference.
Oh, yeah. Well, you get all the barrel character, and like I said, then you're just kind of layering in these different like ingredients and flavors, and at the end, this is why we call this series like Cake Stand. I mean, these beers are layered in like a dessert. I mean, it's like a 10-layer cake.
Levels to it for sure. Well, it's one of those you never have to choose between having a whiskey and a beer ever again.
No doubt.
You just
have both.
Do it all in one. Why not both? Olé. Yeah, for sure. No, this is great, man. Well, congratulations, man. This is, y'all like, damn, dude. Freaking mad scientist. Amazing.
Speaking of, I had an idea for a little bit of a giveaway.
Okay. What you got?
I think we should give away one of these Cake Stand tiramisus.
Oh, yeah.
To a lucky viewer.
Oh, that would be insane, man. These beers it's delicious.
I have to say this would probably be, local pickup only. I can't like legally ship it, but they would probably need a dolly to pick it up.
This?
I'll show you what I mean.
Yeah, you're going to have to. Oh, shit. What? Yeah, don't put that on this. That'll bust the drum head. Beer baby. Yeah, man. Okay.
Yeah, I got a 3-liter bottle here of our tiramisu, the beer we just tasted, and you want to tell them about the giveaway?
All right, we're giving away. You can tell I knew. Cake Stand. This bottle can be yours. All you got to do is follow us on all our social media platforms, and tag 3 friends in the comments. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube as well. Once you do all that, that enters you to win this. This is not only one of the best beers I've ever had, just surprised me with it. It's so nuts, man. But you get the story of having a 3-liter bottle of beer. Where do you get...
One of one bottle, by the way. There's not another one.
Also, where do you buy a 3-liter bottle of beer?
You don't. You win it.
You only win it. Only winners get 3-liter bottles of beer. So make sure you do those things. We'll list all the requirements in the description. But we appreciate everybody for supporting, and we just want to do something that was really cool to thank everyone for basically giving us the support. It's kind of nuts.
No doubt. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. What better way?
No doubt.
All right, let's rate our beers.
All right. Back to Berserker mode.
Crushability.
Crushability, I'm going to say, is a 6.5.
Okay. Complexity.
I'm going to say a 7.7.
Okay. And consistency. How often would you drink it?
I'm going to say like a 6.8 this time of year.
Yeah, in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not in the summer. That doesn't apply.
Yeah, it's a 0 in the summer. Let's just be honest.
Yeah. Okay. Raging Tommy.
Tommy.
You'll never see the side of Tommy. He's too good, man. He's too nice, but that's if he were to get mad. All right, Reve. Crushability.
A 5.
Okay. Complexity.
A 9.
Yeah, it's pretty, yeah. Okay, and then consistency.
6.2.
Okay. Got to get up to get down. Crushability.
Probably a 6.4.
Okay. Complexity.
Maybe a 5.5. 5.5.
Okay. Consistency.
Maybe like this time of year, like a 7. I think I would go to this more than the other ones, just because the lower ABV and like I said, it's pretty drinkable.
Yeah, I agree. I'm around about there.
I'm gonna let you do this one.
Yeah. Let me,
Yep.
if this gives you any idea
Yeah.
as to how I feel about it.
Crushability.
I mean, it's not very crushable. I would say it's in the 3s and 4s.
Definitely agree with that.
I love it, but it's not very crushable.
I'm not saying you couldn't crush it, but you shouldn't crush it.
Yeah, that's not, yeah, let's be clear. Yeah. If you're going to be a normal human who's going to show up on time at work tomorrow, you probably shouldn't crush it.
What about complexity?
It's 11 out of 10. I mean, this is insane. It's the barrel-aged factor is just nuts.
The X factor.
Because it's not just everything else that's in there. That it intensifies everything and it just changes everything. Like, it's nuts. And you can tell it's a whole other degree of difficulty sitting in a barrel for a year.
Yeah, no doubt.
Like, it's not, so I give that, and nothing's perfect, but 9.9.
Yeah.
Complexity, so. Yeah.
What about consistency?
If I still want to do all the things I need to do, I would say it's still, honestly, it could be a 6 or a 7. You're not going to have a lot of them, because the crushability is low.
There's not a lot of them that have been produced either. You know what I'm saying? Right. Honestly, this is probably pretty low on everything but complexity. This is like a special occasion beer.
Yeah. I'll push back and say if you bought a bunch of them, because it's tap room only, you went and bought like 2 cases or whatever, it would be a great dessert beer every weekend.
That's true.
That would be like a fun, like, have a nice dinner, something that pairs well with a bourbon, and then this is how you that's your nightcap. I don't see why you couldn't do that, but it's not something that I would do.
You're not drinking that on a pontoon boat.
No, this is not. No. Yeah, this is the antithesis of Mick Ultra. I would say consistency, 2, 3. Depends on your means.
I got another question for you.
Okay.
You ready for this?
I'm maybe.
How many people would you employ to kill this bottle? Because once you open this thing,
you got to drink it.
You got to drink it.
I would say somewhere between 30 and 40, just to be safe. Could I crush it with 10 real good buds? Yeah. But then we got to explain to our wives what happened.
While we're all sleeping in the garage.
It's like, yeah. Or like law enforcement. It's like, it's not going to be great. It's not going to be a great ending. It's like, what happened?
Well, you see, I won this bottle. And,
it's a podcast, but it's not really a podcast. It's like a show.
You don't even get it.
He's a brewer. He's an expert, and his friend has a garage, okay? You don't understand. You don't know him like I do.
Yeah.
I would say 30 to 40, I think. Get your whole frat.
Yeah.
Just call them up. Yeah. What are y'all doing? Drop everything. Come back.
Frat, bird watching crew.
Oh, yeah, bird watchers.
No doubt.
Dude,
they come out in droves.
I bet bird watchers are freaks.
They come out in flocks.
Yeah. They would flock to this.
They would flock to this.
Easily. Well, man, this was awesome. I can't wait for this giveaway. This is so exciting. And Coffee Beer, we want to thank everybody for watching, checking us out. Make sure you like and subscribe. Follow us. We have tons of stuff in the works. That's live shows, website, food pairings, mailing list, all kinds of things. So make sure you subscribe, be the first to know. And we appreciate everybody. Shouts out to our #1 fans, T.I. Amai.
No doubt.
We mentioned T.Y. Sullivan in this as well.
No doubt.
And yeah, we appreciate y'all. Thanks very much. And that's it.
Shout out to Tommy Teeple over at Grin Coffee.
This is the ending of the video. And this is just when we start talking and then the sound just goes out. And then we're just talking, laughing.
Be safe, be responsible.